Hello everyone, Erik the Seminarian here, and I'm honored to share the first video reflection of Divine Grace Parish. Today's Mass readings all share a common thread in pointing to the proper ends of things. And so, the end of something relates to its purpose, its goal, what is it for? And our greatest end, the greatest end of every human being, as St. Thomas Aquinas teaches, is happiness. So think about that for a minute. A lot of other things that we seek or that we use, these are all ultimately directed to happiness, which is something sought in itself, as an end in itself. So other things like power or wealth are used as means to the end of happiness. But everything, in a way, has a certain end, something it was made for. For example, a smartphone is made for communication, to get information, but we wouldn't use it as a doorstop. That's sort of a use that's beneath it. And so today in the prophet Hosea, we read about idolatry. We read that with their silver and gold, they made idols for themselves to their own destruction. And so idols are using the resources that God gave us for something that is beneath us. We're worshiping things that are beneath us. And the word worship comes from the word worthship. And when we give worth to something, we're worshiping it. And so when we worship an idol, we're worshiping something beneath us, something less than a human being, less than God. Or we might be also worshiping other human beings, but that's another topic. And idolatry is talked about in the Psalm today, sort of almost poking fun at idolatry, saying, these idols, they have mouths, but they can't speak. They have eyes, but they can't see. They have ears, but they can't hear. And that seems obvious. These are statues. They have, their ears don't work like ours. Their eyes don't work. But then he's sort of poking fun at this, saying these obvious facts to show the people, think about how much greater God is. Compare your worship of this static image carved by human hands to the timeless, eternal God who's worked these miracles throughout human history, who gave us existence and life and being to all things. And you're worshiping this piece of wood. And so it should be convicting to us. It says their makers shall be like them. So if we worship these things beneath us, we are dragged down with them. Our worth becomes degraded. Like Hosea says, when they sow the wind, they shall reap the whirlwind. When we seek after emptiness, like the wind, chasing after the wind, we'll reap the whirlwind. We'll enter this storm of despair or trouble. We'll be in a bad place, directionless. We all know situations like this in life. But sometimes things are even out of our control, as the mute man in the gospel. He's possessed by a demon, he can't speak. And so in a way, he represents someone who's been attached to this idol, dragged down with it. And we don't know if it's his fault or not in this case, but we do know that he turns or someone brings him to Jesus, and Jesus is able to heal him. And his mouth is again able to meet its proper end. It's able to speak. It's able to communicate. And communion, think of Holy Communion, when we're brought together with God and with each other in an intimate way. And so in this way, Jesus restores humanity to its proper end. He gives us direction and purpose. And he turns the lights back on, and he brings our life to its fullness. He restores us. And so today, let us turn to God, because oftentimes we become like sheep without a shepherd. We're troubled and abandoned, and only Jesus can restore us to that fullness of life. Help us to follow our proper end, which is happiness with him forever.